Welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. And this, my friends, is The Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program. And as you can see, I have a guest, an author, Robert Kuto, right?
Exactly.
And Robert is here to join me to taste some vino, talk about his experience, his book, and I'm happy to have him here, Robert.
Great to be here, Gary.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So you reached out to me, sent me an email.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell the Vaniacs the story of how you got on the show, and then we'll take it back to why you wrote the book, and we'll drink some vino.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm a big fan of Gary's, and one of the reasons being that I love the way he talks about wine. You know, none of this...
crap.
Exactly. He gets
No, you know
right
what it
down
is?
to it.
Not talking down, right?
Right. And also, I think that too often, like the whole wine vocabulary, we get too caught up in this technical speak. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of sucks, because really, if you were to talk about music that way, would you say, well, gee, this piece of music, this great symphony or this great song has 43 C notes, 53 D notes, and everything like that? No, you miss the whole essence of the wine, and the wine is what moves you from inside and really touches your head and your heart. That's what it's about.
I mean, I agree, though I do talk about music the way you just referred to. Okay, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. When did you find the show? How long have you been watching? How did you catch it?
I've been catching it for, I'd say a little over a year now.
Appreciate it. Tell me about why you wrote a wine book, and what is it all about?
Well...
Tell me about you. Who are you? How'd you get here? You just showed up.
Okay.
Come on. Did we screen this guy? Go ahead.
Okay, I've been a journalist all my professional life, and born in New York, and...
I knew I liked him.
And...
Where?
Stuyvesant Town.
Mm-hmm.
And grew up in Westchester, and after went to graduate school in New York, at Columbia University. And after that, I moved to Dallas-Fort Worth, where I lived for 16 years.
How was that?
Dallas-Fort Worth?
Yeah.
After New York?
Yeah.
Scary.
Understood.
At first, you know.
I went to Dallas for the first time a couple days ago.
No, but I love Dallas. I mean, Dallas-Fort Worth has been very.
But you didn't like the Cowboy fans.
Well, okay.
You're a Giants fan.
You know what? I'm kind of like Bruce Springsteen when it comes to pro sports. I mean, I remember the era of
I don't
Johnny
care what you
Unitas,
remember. I don't care
Joe
what you remember.
Namath.
Who are you a fan of a team or not really? You're just not into pro sports.
I am not really into football as it is today, because I believe in Terroir, and I think if the Jets maybe could get some real turf, maybe I could get behind them.
Like if they were in New York instead of New Jersey? Are you dissing New Jersey right now?
No, real surface to play on.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Grass,
really? You don't
dirt,
like the thing they've got
mud.
now?
No, I like the mud.
You like the old school?
Yeah,
I understand.
The old school. But basically, I am a fan of whatever team the Dallas Cowboys is playing.
Right, that's how much you hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I love it.
And mainly because, I was a Cowboy fan. They completely broke my heart, after Jimmy Johnson thing.
Yep.
I got tired of seeing Michael Irvin on Dallas television.
Arrested.
Every night, in a fur, with 3 hose behind him, and the whole thing.
Say it.
Say it, man. Forget it. Who's ever playing the Cowboys, that's who I'm for.
All right, so you were in Dallas for 16 years.
Yeah. I started a weekly newspaper called FW Weekly, or Fort Worth Weekly. It's kind of an all-weekly newspaper there.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Very entrepreneurial.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. I'm an entrepreneurial guy,
Yep.
and I sold it in 2000.
Good.
And it's still alive and kicking.
Nice.
And at that point, my wife is from France, from Nice.
Okay.
And one night, it was a bottle of Kuto Rhone. We're sitting around the kitchen table, and I said, "Hey, we're still young now." Our son at the time, he was like 5 years old. I said, "Well, why don't we move to Nice?" She said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" So,
and what made you say that? She wanted it. You saw it underlining in your wife, and you wanted to do that for her.
You know what?
You were curious. You were tired of Dallas.
No.
Not dissing on Dallas.
No.
I like that a lot,
No. We're not dissing Dallas. But you know what it really was is that the times we visited there. I mean, I love the food,
see. So from the
wine,
travel,
the whole
you already
thing.
were into the culture.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay. So you go.
So I
pack up and go.
Yeah.
So your boy's a Frenchie.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, he's both.
His culture.
Yeah, when he speaks in English, he speaks, and then when he speaks in French, he's got so it's two different.
It's like
accents.
me when I speak in Russian. I mean, it's totally Jersey, New York accent, Russian.
Yeah.
So he really grew up in France.
Yeah.
I mean, what years did you live in? Do you still live there?
Yeah,
You live in France right now.
right now.
So how often do you get to the U.S.?
Once, twice a year.
Right. And I see you picked up the huge French accent.
Yeah. I can speak with the French accent if you like, Gary.
No, I like the New York accent. I know I love the French accent. And so that's really, I didn't realize it. Okay, so go ahead, keep telling your story.
Okay.
Now I'm starting to get
So
cozy.
I'm there, and I was and have been writing for the Washington Post features. More recently,
It's a nice gig.
Yeah,
Great newspaper.
yeah, and the Wine Spectator too. I don't do the technical stuff. I do more the color stuff, winemaker profiles, traveling, which is what I love. I love the people.
So when you moved there, you started writing. Were you writing about wine at all at any point? You jumped ahead to you just went to France and now you're writing for Spectator.
Yeah.
I just want to tell the story.
Okay. I'll tell you what happened.
What happened?
Well, I started writing, really travel, cultural stories, that sort of Epicurean stuff.
There for a newspaper
for
in
the
France?
Washington Post.
Right away, as soon as you went to France.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
pretty
that's
close.
the gig that you got.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a great editor.
Yeah.
I contacted.
Yep.
She said, "Yeah, do some stuff for
Okay.
us." And so, what happened is, as I traveled from one end of France to the other, I just really got sucked into the terroir.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say terroir, I mean really seeing that place where the cuisine. Not just the
DNA of the whole
soil,
place.
the DNA, in the cuisine and the way it goes with the wine and the way that people even
And what they did
down
for
to
a
cutting
living,
the vines, exactly.
right?
Yeah,
The whole tone.
yeah. The smell of the tractors,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
It all goes into
So
it.
it sucked you in.
Yeah,
It romanced you.
yeah.
Took your
exactly.
pants off.
Yeah,
Okay.
and basically, I think it's a great time in France, and I think corkscrewed kind of refers to the corkscrewing, kind of the screwy state that wines in France are in now. Because 15 years ago, what was there? There was really 15, 20 years ago there was Bordeaux and Burgundy. Now you have this new generation of winemakers, smart, educated, with some ideas that are doing some great stuff.
Cahors, Bandol, Gaillac. I mean, these
Yeah.
are all. Matt, you okay over there? All, no, you gotta take care of Matt.
Yeah.
All emerging in Languedoc, Roussillon. I mean, just so many interesting places. So those are things that started really sucking you in.
Yeah.
That you realized
Yeah.
it wasn't just about, Bordeaux and Burgundy.
Exactly, and that is what the book is about. It's about the people, the humanity, the terroir.
When did you decide to write the book?
A couple of years ago, a few years ago, and because I said, "Geez, I've got enough," in my notes to.
Had you ever written a book before?
No, first
So
book.
you went for it.
First book, yeah, went for
Awesome.
it, did it, and yeah,
Who published?
actually, University of Nebraska Press. of all
Really?
places. Yeah, they have a big Francophile
That's pretty cool.
area. Yeah,
It's a nice picture of you. Your profile on back here.
thank you.
Zoom in there, Matt. It's a good-looking picture. Let's be honest. Okay.
Well,
And
at the beginning of the week, people were saying that I look better than the picture, so I must be really tired now.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm going around the country.
I just think it's your
running the
charisma.
book. Okay,
You
gotcha,
you just got that good vibe. So they say that to me all the time. It's not true. I'm much uglier in real life. Okay, and so it's the stories of your travel of these different places
Yeah,
around the world.
yeah, and it's about the people that I think are having around France that are having an impact on wine and expressing their
So it's about the
terroir.
pioneers. You think it's about the next generation of people that are going to push the envelope?
I think it's about the people that are pushing the envelope now, and some of the people that are pushing the envelope, and a little bit of some people who are just out there doing great stuff and who aren't necessarily even pushing any envelopes.
I understand. Just good peeps.
Yeah, exactly.
So you brought one wine.
Yeah.
I went and had Ian grab two wines. Did a little Rhone action. I'm dying to try these two wines, so I figured,
Yeah, great.
I'll
Let's
throw
do
them
it.
on you.
Yeah.
What is your take on wines from other parts of the world?
My take on wines from other parts of the
Yeah.
world. Well, first of all, I think that France has the biggest diversity of terroir that there is, and the biggest expression, and the biggest number of vignerons. If you think about it, France is about 1/3 bigger than California, but they've got, I believe, about 4 times the vineyards under plantation, and about 18 times the number of growers.
It's their identity in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and if I could, and the reason why that's important, if I could say this, I
Sure,
think
of
that
course.
Gary is a fan of diversity. We could say Gary likes.
I like
not
Mott.
Yeah.
You know?
So I like diversity too. I like things that are different. I don't want to eat the same thing every night. I don't want to drink the same thing every
Listen,
night.
I appreciate those words, and I'm sure if you've been watching for as long as you've been watching it, I hope that it's very obvious to you that the agenda of why I started this show, and now as this airs past our 3-year mark, is to get people to try new things.
Exactly.
There's so much out there.
Yes.
I had the same in little trips experiences that you had. I actually went to the Gaiac very early on. There was a company called Vineyard Expressions. A guy and it's funny. I noticed this is from Richmond, California. Charles Neal section. I know Charles Neal stuff, and the Vineyard Expressions people were also from down in the south as well, and had all these weird things, Gaiac Blancs and all this crazy stuff. And I was like, what is going on? I've never heard about this. I've never read it. And so there's so many different things.
Yeah.
And people find one wine and they drink it every single night.
Yeah.
And that makes me cry to sleep.
Yes. 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 I agree. And then you see, so what's
Do you
great?
feel that problem? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do you feel that problem is as obvious in France as well?
You mean run-of-the-mill people are...
People just drinking the same wine?
Yes and no. I mean, I think there's more and more people that are more interested in these regions. The problem is sometimes bad raps die hard.
Really hard. I mean,
so you have people of a certain
sure.
generation
who will
that are
just
like,
not drink anything from Roussillon.
Right.
Or like,
exactly,
are you out of your mind?
Right. So, but I think the new generation, there's a new generation of people that are like probably the age of a lot of your viewers who are just curious.
My viewers are
blowing
much
it now.
older than you think.
No, but look at look at what's happening in Paris now. You have this explosion of these little wine sellers, these little cavistes who, they have a little plat du jour and all this, and they have all these wild wines,
Yep.
and, it's just, it's fantastic. And, the other thing that's good about having that many winemakers, it means that, with all these forces to, big things and industrialization, that France can't really be tamed too much. Mm-hmm. Charles de Gaulle once said that you cannot govern a country with 254 kinds of cheese. And that is what is great about France.
And what's not great about France, in your opinion, in the wine world?
In the wine world, I would say that some of the action in Bordeaux and Burgundy, some of these established areas where you have insurance companies, I write about that, taking over some of these chateaux. And, some people may say, well, you're overthinking it if you care who owns it. But, I don't know.
Everything stems from the top.
An insurance company, these banks. Look at where we are now with the insurance companies and banks, right? We can't let them do that to wine, Gary. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
There's so much we can do.
No, but they've taken the retirement
want
plans.
wine.
They've done
Listen,
this. No,
I get
we
it.
can't let them take the wine too.
They're taking a lot.
Yeah.
No
now,
question.
I know since you traveled to France, I did bring you a little something for your next trip.
Okay.
It's a gift from France.
Okay.
Really.
Officially from France.
Officially from France. Made in France.
Okay.
Not made in China. Not a knockoff from China.
Okay. Thank you. That's pretty awesome.
That's good.
Aha! Oh my God! Dude, that is so nice. Now this can be worn on the Thunder Show. Is that good? Is that good? You like that?
Yeah.
Can you help me? Give me a little.
Yeah.
There
pull
we
it down
go.
a little bit.
Ma, how are you looking? Flip the cam. I want to see. Tremendous. Now this is exactly. Let me just talk to you. Hold it down for 1 second. What do you guys think? I mean, this is the way to go. I mean, this is the way to travel in France. This is awesome. That's so nice of you. Thank you. That's super nice. I love this. I'm so pumped right now. All right. Get back composed. I'm super pumped. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, one of the things I always find interesting is that in France, you are not allowed to promote wine on the internet. Did you know that? That to me is absurd and ludicrous and obnoxious. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know.
Did you know that? You can't, I mean, there's like these promotion laws, and so I don't know all the details, so I'm spewing a lot of venom for not knowing all the details, but there's definitely some legalities with, promoting wine on the internet in France. So I got to look more into that.
Well, there's a lot of people who sell it, and there's some beautiful websites.
I know that. There's some great sites.
Yeah,
but
so, how do they define promote?
Yeah,
I mean, leave it to the French to make it a complicated.
I mean, I'm curious, because when I was in Paris last at Le Web, a tech conference, and I spoke, people were asking me about this, and I never got around to educating myself on it. I didn't know if you really knew.
No.
But I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. There's probably a book about that thick, and it's in...
Yeah, maybe we can co-write
19th
one together
century
about
French
the...
or something.
So, all right, let's get into the first wine. Keep talking.
Okay.
I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
This is Pierre Gagnon. Do you know Gagnon? really interesting producer. Are you familiar with his stuff? The Le OVA, 2006, Saint Joseph Blanc. This is a Roussan Marsan blend. 80% Marsan, 20% Roussan, 92 points by Spectator, $38 US. And I just think that a lot of people. Let's talk about Rhone for a minute. I'm sure you're familiar with that area. You've been there probably a lot of times.
Yeah.
So many people focus on Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Yeah.
Collectors focus on, Hermitage, Côte-Rôtie. I think places like, Vacheras and Saint Joseph, Croix Hermitage, really undervalued. I mean, 38 bones is a lot of money, so I'm not going to sit here and say this is an inexpensive bottle of wine. But, white Rhones, especially Saint Joseph Blanc. I mean, you know this, even outside the Rhone, in France, you're not seeing that many Saint Joseph Blancs on lists or in stores.
Right.
Right? I mean, it's pretty wild. So,
Yeah.
very underrated part of French white wine history and just French wines in general. What's been your traditional take on the white Rhone wines? Are you a fan? Or are you like the majority not a fan? Where do you sit on that?
Well,
not a lot of. Have you not played around a lot with it either?
I'll tell you what I think. First of all, I think that when you talk about terroir,
Yeah.
if you really want to see terroir,
You go to the Rhone.
you follow the river. And you follow it from the south, where the sun is shining and it's beating down, and then you get to around Valence. That's the dividing line between the south and
Yep.
suddenly it's cloudy.
It's insane.
There's no more
It's
sun.
insane.
There's no more sun. And in the south, the food is spicier, more peppers, more vegetable, more Provence kind of thing.
Yep.
And then you go north and it's more cream, and that really goes better with some of the northern, more acidic kind of wines. And to me, that's where you really see terroir. And I agree with you. Some of these places, they get fashionable, they get discovered, but there's tons more discovery. And I'll tell you, white Rhones, for my wife's birthday, which also happens to be Valentine's Day, I said, I'm going to cook for friends, okay.
Did good there though. You get killed one bird, two birds with one stone. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
No. I had to make it doubly good, Gary.
I understand.
Make it doubly good. Okay.
I respect that. I know.
So what I made for the lead-in dish. I'm sorry. I love to talk about food when I talk
Listen,
about wine because you got to do that.
I love to talk about wrestling and football, so
Yeah.
your food is much more acceptable. Don't worry.
Okay,
Fire
okay.
away.
So what I did is in our village now.
This smells tremendous. So, go ahead.
Yeah. In our village now, there's these guys who gather truffles. I mean, not in our village, but from about an hour away. They come.
Pigs? They use pigs or dogs?
Actually, they use more dogs now because the pigs eat the truffles.
I know.
They
get
love
excited.
them too much. They get addicted.
They're
like,
right.
Yeah,
Good
they
work,
were like-
pigs.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they were like certain NFL players in the club with the blow.
I
You know what I mean?
understand. They couldn't stop.
that kind of
They
thing.
can't stop.
Yeah, exactly. They
Right.
can't stop. So anyway, I made a great little truffles. The reason why I like them, easy to make. Easy, guy like me, top product.
Obnoxiously delicious.
Obnoxiously delicious. Did a little sauce with the butter, just on pasta, easy. Put out a bunch of wines, for our friends.
Yeah.
The home run was a white Rhone from Caran.
Really.
I mean, and it was like probably a third the
Price of everything else.
But just the way that nuttiness and the way it went with the dish
And the floral aspect probably.
Yeah.
Let's jump into this real quick.
Okay, let's go.
Aromatically, this is spectacular. I just noticed I was going to say this. Like, while you were talking, I was in it the whole time. I get a really interesting, like, lemon kind of component, like lemon peel, but I get enormous amounts of acacia flowers on this nose. What are you picking up on the bouquet? Anything stand out?
I'm getting kind of like a sweaty Jets jersey. No. It's
Are you
kinda-
getting a little sweaty sock action?
Yeah,
kind of thing?
I'm getting a little
mildewy
buttery, a little
I'm getting the
buttery,
butter as well.
a little bit of that.
Buttered sweat?
Yeah.
Like if a man sweat butter,
Yeah.
that's what this would smell
Yeah,
like.
like if you went to a movie and
Right.
had a lot of
Like action? Like you were hooking up the whole time? Or what were you going to say? I got
you
excited.
had a lot of butter popcorn.
Got it. I do get but not on a Chardonnay level. It's a little more subtle in this.
Yes.
Do you get the floral acacia thing? I get it so much. Or is that, have you smelled a lot of flowers? I'm so big. That's like my thing. Like I smell a lot of flowers because I pick them up a lot in different wines. I get it quite a bit on this. I think this smells tremendous. to me.
Yeah, it's that.
It's seductive. Do you like it? The nose? I mean the nose. Or it's not your style. Listen, I hope you understand. I feel like you're a tremendously good dude. If you hate this nose, I have no emotional attachment to this. You already gave me what I want.
Yeah.
You know, you can kill. Seriously. No, I mean, I don't know if you know the scene here. No holds barred.
Yeah.
If this sucks, the worst thing you ever saw in your life, tell them.
I think, you know, to me it's a little heavy.
Good. I mean, let's go.
It's a little heavy.
Let's go.
It's not very subtle.
Let's go.
You know, to
let's
me.
go. Good. All right. Little heavy on the nose.
Yeah.
I mean it. I mean, kill
little
it.
heavy. I mean, the flowers are a little pregnant for me.
I understand.
You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
give it a whirl. Let's see what's happening. Licorice. Crazy. I wanted to say it first because I thought it was so obvious. I thought we were going to beat me to it. Are you getting the licorice?
Yeah.
Is it almost ridiculous to you?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, a little bit too much for me.
Though I love licorice so much that I'm going to kind of be like, okay with it. Mott, the red light is blinking. I know. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Mott!
I don't know.
Mott, you're supposed to know what the red light blinking means. Are you worried? Is there enough battery?
There's plenty of battery. There's plenty of tape.
What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know.
But it's blinking.
It's blinking.
All right, no problem. It's cool.
It never blinks.
It never blinks.
Okay.
This is one of the great episodes of Wine Library TV history. We just drank so much licorice that I think the camera got worried.
Yeah.
Am I wrong in thinking this has an outlandish amount of licorice in it?
I think so.
But you don't like that.
I'm still tasting the licorice.
Me too. And it's hot. Now, it's
Yeah.
at room temperature, so we got to give it the benefit
I
of
was
the
going
doubt.
to say that. I was going to say
and
that.
I'm a room temperature guy,
Yeah.
so you got to give it the benefit of that.
I know. So I think that chilled, I think that would diminish,
It
obviously.
would. But I like tasting what's really there.
I agree. For the tasting, I agree.
I've never had this much licorice in a wine before. Ever. And I've tasted it.
I did.
In what?
Just this last week in Seattle.
What was it?
One of these Washington State Reds.
Viogniers? Oh, Reds?
Yeah.
And had so much licorice.
Oh, yeah.
But this and even more than this. Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah.
It's almost difficult to pick up anything else on this wine.
Yeah.
Let me just get him one more time. Yeah, I mean, heavy on the licorice. I do get a little bit of an apple component on the back end. That may be because the blood is not going to my brain anymore because this is very tight in my head. I think this is extremely over-the-top licorice flavored wine. I mean, there's nothing really else to say. It's almost like taking 4 or 5 pieces of really real licorice, sticking it in water, and then drinking that later. I mean, I really think 5 hours of soaking in water pure licorice is what this wine tastes like. The controversial thing about that is I kind of like that. It's so different for me, so I'm going to give it respect for the difference of it. But that being said, at 38 bones, I think it is an overpriced wine, and I think it's a little gloppy. Don't worry. It's a little gloppy. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's a little gloppy on my palate, and I don't like that. Do you like the gloppiness, or do you find it to be a little heavy and gloppy?
I find it to be a little cloying.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to use the real term.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing
Yeah.
that.
Is that my bag or yours?
It's your bag.
Okay, I'm going to put my bag outside.
No, I don't think you understand. The realness. Do you understand what's already happened in the show?
Yeah.
You gave me Ray. I left. The light went off. This is This is why I do this.
Right.
It's the best part.
Okay.
Don't. And I saw your face. You were being hesitant. Let's crush these wines.
Okay, let's.
Because if this wine stinks, the one you brought, I will bash it right back to where it came from.
Okay.
Okay. Good. All right. So to me, this is an 88, 87 point play, and that's me liking the licorice. I'm sure, if he was to score, it'd probably be even lower than that. So, at 38 bones, I would say it's a pass. Rhone is a producer that I think makes really good wines. So I'm a little bit disappointed with this effort. It's just too much. If it could have calmed down just a bit, maybe with a 3, 4, 5 year aging window. Don't be twisted. This is a 10 to 12 year aging white wine. That's what these wines can do. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people don't recognize that in white Rhone wines.
Yeah.
But at 38 bones, I'm going to give it a pass. I just don't see me paying that kind of money, and I don't think you should as well.
Generally in that region, I love the expression of Viognier.
Yeah, Viognier is great.
Yeah.
But I'm a big Roussan-Marsan guy. This just I think this just got away from them.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, Yeah. Just a hair. All right. Mott?
I know what it is. Let's take our first ever Wine Library TV break so I can put a new tape in.
It's the tape?
It's the tape.
You got caught with the tape.
I didn't rewind, I guess.
Mott!
It's the first time ever.
It is the first time ever.
So
I almost don't want to do it. I just want to end the show. I don't want to break our streak of never, ever, ever. All right, we'll break the streak. We'll be right back.